This is disrespectful for the Duke Blue Devils, as despite their two statement victories, there's one college basketball insider who's still not convinced of the strength of the best team in the country. What's up, guys? I'm Matt Long. Welcome to Duke Basketball 365. If you're a Duke Blue Devils fan, please hit that subscribe button. Only 10% of viewers are subscribed to the channel, and it really helps me out a ton. But let's jump right into the video for today. Coming from Sports Illustrated, despite Duke's signature victory over the Michigan Wolverines, CBS Sports college basketball insider Matt Norlander still isn't sold on the Blue Devils as the best team in college basketball. "I still favor Michigan," Norlander said. "I know Duke just won the game off on the neutral floor. I get that. It was a one-off. If they played a 7-game series, which thankfully they don't in college basketball, I would favor Michigan to win in a 7-game series over Duke." Interestingly, despite a head-to-head win at a neutral site, Michigan is still ahead of Duke in both the NCAA net rankings and at KenPom. The Wolverines and Blue Devils are rated the number 1 and number 2 in both metrics, respectively. Michigan has defeated 10 teams by 30 points or more this season and has looked utterly dominant most of the time. Maybe the Wolverines are more complete than Duke, but when both teams are operating at their best, the Blue Devils seem to be the better squad. Well, I certainly agree with that final line by Sports Illustrated, but there was one mistake in that second paragraph that we are going to expose a little bit later on in this video. But let's start off with Matt Norlander from CBS Sports thinks Duke is not the best team in the country. "We all saw them win in Washington, D.C. on a neutral site game versus the Michigan Wolverines. It was an extremely close and extremely entertaining game that had a lot of whistles being blown on both sides all game long. And currently, despite getting that victory, just like this article mentioned, Duke still only number 2 in the KenPom ratings below Michigan. But if we look at where the ratings stand this afternoon, it's essentially the same number. Michigan 38.41, Duke 38.39. Essentially the exact same thing. The only thing that really has changed meaningfully for KenPom is if we looked all the way on the right side of this graphic, Duke has officially taken over as the number 1 defensive rating in all of college basketball, taking it away from Michigan. Michigan now drops down to number 2. We know that sometimes Duke, we're prone to having some nights where the 3-point shot isn't there, but our defense is there night in and night out. And that is that's where we put our mark. That's what our team is about. We are defense first. We're going to shoot a lot of threes. Hopefully we make them, but that is going to come and go. What doesn't come and go is going to be the prowess of this team defensively, which has been incredibly impressive and has earned the number 1 defensive rating across all of college basketball. Interestingly, the third highest net rated team, according to KenPom, Arizona, is also the number 3 team in the defensive rating. Just goes to show how important defense is in the modern game of college basketball. But just breaking down between Duke and Michigan, this Duke win right here is what I would, in my estimation, the second best victory of the season. The one game that I put above that is Wisconsin went to Ann Arbor, Michigan, and beat Michigan on their home floor, and we beat them at a neutral site. So that's why I think Wisconsin has a better win than us, but Duke, we have the second best win in the entire country. Let's just remember what Norlander said was in a 7-game series, he's taking Michigan. The predictive analytics tell us there isn't a wrong answer when it comes to taking both of these teams. I've already seen Duke beat Michigan. I would take Duke in a 7-game series, but there isn't a wrong answer here. Both teams are extremely close in the net ratings. One reason, just one thing that I got to point out here. My introduction to this CBS insider Matt Norlander was a couple of years ago, the year where we had Kyle Filipowski and Derek Lively were our 2 top recruits. That year, we were a 5 seed. In round 1, we were facing Oral Roberts in our 5-12 game. And this guy, Matt Norlander, picked Oral Roberts to beat Duke. So he could just be a hater. That's a very possible thing that could be at play here. But now let's break down also our net ratings And like I said earlier on in the video, there was something in that second paragraph from Sports Illustrated that was incorrect. And despite that article coming out 3 hours ago, this morning there has been an update to the net rankings where Duke has taken over the Michigan Wolverines, and we can see why. Duke leads the country in quad one victories. Also, the second best victory of the entire college basketball season. We are tied with Arizona for the most quad one victories. Arizona last night, they got a quad one win when they took on the Baylor Bears and they won an away game. Baylor rated in the top 70. So that's going to be a quad one win for the Arizona Wildcats. But we know, looking at the overall, looking at college basketball, there are some unbelievable teams. And if you're filling out your bracket, what I would do is, unless it's a crazy buy-in, just make 3 brackets, pay 3 buy-ins, pick Duke in one bracket, Michigan in another bracket, Arizona in a third bracket. If you are playing for money, if you are just playing with your friends, then I'm obviously taking Duke the way I always take Duke, whether we're a 1 seed or a 5 seed, like we were a couple of years ago with Filipowski and Lively. But if you're trying to make money, 3 brackets, take Michigan, take Duke, take Arizona. Those teams are unbelievable and a stage above the rest. But talking about more what we got coming up here, one of the reasons why we are now KenPom'd KenPom'd right next to Michigan, jumped over Michigan in the net rankings, was the blowout last night versus the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. You love to see Jon Scheyer not wasting the final 15 minutes of the game where we were up by a ton, but he still puts guys on the floor. He didn't just go right to the deep bench. Like we saw some guys later, and he didn't go right to the deep bench. First thing that he did was he left the guys who play in big time games like Darren Harris, like Dame Sarr. He left them in to get more confidence, which was a smart thing to do. The other thing I liked that Scheyer did, instead of just immediately putting in the deep bench guys, he practiced some new things. We saw a zone defense that Duke doesn't usually use, and we saw things that Duke could work on for the future, which, as I called out on the broadcast, is the perfect situation for a head coach. You get a big win, but at the same time, you have coaching points and teaching points for your team. And we are going to need those teaching points as we have a tough matchup versus Virginia this Saturday. We are projected by KenPom to have an 83% chance to win this game, which is amazing. Virginia, currently KenPom ranked 14, AP poll ranked 11. They beat NC State last night by like 29 points or something crazy. I feel like NC State, I saw so much push from them, like by ACC Network, and they feel like an industry plant team. Like they're not that good, but everyone's trying to push them so hard. Whatever. On to Virginia. They are just like they were under the Tony Bennett teams. They have a fantastic defense again this season. It's not the same way the Tony Bennett teams worked, where under Tony Bennett, they had a really good defense and they slowed down the pace of play, so they limited your possessions. It's not like that, but expect Virginia to have a good defense like those old, number 1 seed Tony Bennett Virginia teams used to have. It's, as we can see here by that 83% number, it's not supposed to be the toughest game in the world. And where we are sitting now as the number 2 team in the KenPom rankings and Virginia at 14, Duke really should be walking away with a victory. As we can see, projected, we are big favorites to win all the final games of our season. The 2 tougher teams, the 2 ranked teams, Virginia and North Carolina, both those games take place at Cameron Indoor, which is a game changer. And then NC State going to be on the road, but NC State really doesn't have the talent to stand up with the Duke Blue Devils. Projected to finish the year 29-2, which really should have beaten UNC. I wish that the officials gave us a fair shake, but you will take 29-2 moving on to the ACC tournament. Can't wait to see how the rest of the season works out. Should be a very, very fun one as we get on here into the ACC tournament and into March Madness. That's what I got for this video. If you stuck around this long, I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video all the way through. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and go Duke.